this point, just 6 days before the, or 5 days now, I guess, before the opener?
I mean, you think about the spring, going through the summer, and all you hear about is Nebraska, Nebraska, Nebraska. I mean, it's here. You got to be excited. Everyone's excited. It's all we can talk about.
Couldn't be more excited, man. It's 5 days away.
Yeah.
I keep thinking I'm gonna wake up and it's gonna be Saturday. I'm ready to get to it, man.
Jared, how do you feel like camp went for you guys in terms of improvement, in terms of getting to know the system and all the subtle changes and all that stuff a little bit more, and especially in terms of getting ready to play a game?
Yeah, I feel like camp went very well. With the new defense and stuff, it was a lot for us to learn. I felt like we got better every day. That's what the coach was telling us. We're looking better. Now we got all our stuff locked in for Nebraska, so we're ready to go.
Jack, what about the offense?
Went good. I mean, Coach always talks about building those bricks. We're going to build a mansion, have good days on top of good days, and I think we did that for the most part throughout camp, honing in on what we're going to do for Nebraska this past few days, and we're excited.
Jack, you mentioned how exciting it was to have this on the horizon here, but in terms of long off seasons, how long was this off season for you guys, considering all of it? I mean, it had to have been a pretty long one. That maybe this day would never get here, I guess.
I mean, you think back, and when it's happening, you think it's long, but I mean, I can remember the other day. I mean, just Coach Taggart coming in for that first meeting. It's crazy how fast it goes when you really think back at it.
Well, I guess game-wise then, as an offensive guy that's had a good handful of days, look at the defensive game tape. What do you guys see from them defensively? A lot of talk about their defense, all offseason and coming into now. What do you guys see from them?
First of all, as an offense, you always got to start out by running the ball, and we think we can do that. We think we can do what we do and run the ball on them, and of course, they'll run the ball on them, and they'll start opening up our pass game.
Jared, what about for you guys? Obviously, this is an offense that's going to have some changes. They're going to have a new quarterback, regardless of which guy that is. Where do you feel like maybe you guys can affect them?
Well, we can affect them. My Coach Bone was talking to us earlier. They got big offensive linemen. They're big human beings. He said we got to wear them down. Play low on them. So I think we can get in that backfield and be disruptive. I think we can really do that as long as we jumping off that ball and getting in that backfield.
How big a challenge is it for you guys? Even though now you've got 4 down linemen as opposed to 4, how big a challenge is it when you go up against an offensive line that is so much bigger?
It's gonna be a big challenge. They got big, like I said, big offensive line, big wingspan. We got to come off the ball.
Yeah.
That's basically all we got to do, man. Is get in their backfield and just cause havoc back there.
Jackson, question to you about the offense. How big of a challenge is it then? I mean, you say you feel like you can run the ball at the same time. I mean, this is a defense that was number 7 in the country last year. They lose some guys, but they were a lot back. I mean, how big of a challenge do you see them as, from watching them?
I mean, it's kind of what Jared said. You got to keep coming at them. You can't let play where we don't gain a yard discourage you. You got to keep coming, keep coming. I think if we do that, we'll be just fine.
Jared, Coach Bowen knows a little something about Nebraska. What's he been telling you about those guys, and how do you feel like maybe his advanced knowledge of what they do or what they like to do? How do you feel like that helps?
Well, it's good to have him. He been playing them a couple years. They got him the last couple times, I think it was. So that helps him a little. He's really ready to get that win against Nebraska again. He hasn't had that in a minute. So, but he's got good knowledge, and that's helping us.
Jared, you played in some pretty big environments in your time here, and this one's going to be just the same way. I got to feel like after the first few, it's obviously gets a little easier. How much easier is it to play in an environment that you will expect to play on Saturday, as opposed to the first time you really played in a massive stadium?
Yeah. Last time we played, we had to look at all that orange. My freshman year was a lot of crimson. This is going to be a house full of Western red, so we're pretty much ready. Those are our fans. That's the way I'm looking at it. So we're ready. We're ready for that. 90,000 screaming Western fans out there. It's going to be quiet in there once we start making plays and things.
How much does it help, though, Jared? I mean, as a guy's been here a couple years, you guys have played in some big-time places like that the last couple years. This isn't the first time you're going to go somewhere where it's 90+ thousand. I mean, how much of those old experiences, being in that noise and all that, help? What do you think will help?
That definitely helps because you're not – I mean, the first time you're in a big stadium like that, your eyes is real big. Probably the first couple of series I mean, we got a couple guys that came last year, you know, to one of those big places. So that'll help us a lot in focusing on our assignments and things instead of what's going around in the stadium.
Jared, how do you feel like last year Tennessee, to use it as an example, you guys for the first quarter you created a few turnovers, scoreless. They were about to score. They were close to scoring at the end of the first quarter, but it was scoreless through one, and then in the second quarter it seemed to just snowball. How did that happen, and how in an environment like this do you try to avoid that, or how can you keep, how do you continue to hold the line like you guys were able to do, for a little while last year?
Well, I mean, we're approaching this season as a totally different thing from last season.
Yeah.
This summer we trained for 6 quarters. Now I don't know if we had that training like that we needed to keep us going throughout the whole game, but we got that this year and we're looking forward. We're trying to stay away from looking in the past, I feel like we're gonna do real well against Nebraska.
Jack, where do you feel like this offense needs to go over the course of the next few days? Obviously Nebraska's defense is its calling card. Where do you feel like the offense needs to go over the next few days to be in a position Saturday to make some dents in that defense, so to speak?
Really, it's just getting reps. It's continue to practice what we're going to do, and reps. That's the mother of learning. If we can do that, I think we'll be ready to go.
Obviously, there aren't a whole lot of holes in what they do. They've got to replace a couple guys, but they're going to be pretty sound. Where do you feel like, though, maybe you guys can do some stuff against them?
Kind of like what I was saying to him, just running the ball. It all starts with running the ball. We got to be able to run the ball, and that'll open up what we're trying to do with them.
Is that maybe meet aggression with aggression head on kind of thing, because they bring it pretty hard? Is it a game plan of, if they're going to bring it hard at us, we're going to go right back at it just as hard as, if they stop the run, that's their calling card. You guys want to run the ball against them. You feel like that's the best way to do it, to just see what you got and figure what we have?
I think our running game is our best thing, so why would we change what we're going to do? So we're going to do what we do, and it should work out for us.